everybody, my name is Tanya and this is a very long overdue video. This is going to be about my June Booktube Recommends Project pick, and it now is late August. But anyway, today we're going to talk about Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson. Although I'm not just going to talk about Speak, I'm also going to tie this in with Shy by Sian Prior, which is a memoir that I read recently. The reason I'm going to package these together is of the emotion that they evoked in me and the frame of mind that I read them in. They're very different books, but hopefully it will begin to make a little bit more sense when I start talking about it. So Speak by Laurie Halse Anderson was the one that was recommended to me by Rachel from the Shades of Orange, and Rachel of course is the person who created the Booktube Recommends Project in the first place, so I of course was really excited to see what she would recommend. I think I had heard of Speak before this as a name, but not really as what it was about, or it's not something that is widely known in Australia, so I was really interested to pick this one up. So Speak is the story of Melinda, who is about to enter her freshman year at high school. I think the Australian equivalent is year 9 here, and something happens before the year starts. She's at a party, something happens, and she calls the police, and she is outcast because of that act. So the police come break up the party, and she is on the receiving end of a lot of hate for that action and socially excluded from her peers. Now, there's something that happens, I'm not going to talk about that, although it does become very clear even before starting it. This edition that I have is the 15th anniversary edition, and there are letters at the start before we get into the book that people have written to the author over the years about how this book affected them and their own stories. And so of course in reading those it becomes very clear what that thing is, and it can probably be guessed anyway. I'm not going to talk about that, so to give anybody who doesn't want to know going in the chance to not know. And so it follows that year at school and how everybody is turned against her and nobody is talking to her, and she has gone silent herself. She does not speak anymore, and we're really inside her head with her emotional turmoil about things, although of course we are kept in the dark about what has happened to her too. And being inside her head and living those feelings with her was definitely very emotional for me. The level that I related to this book is not really what this book is about. This book is about so much more than what I related to, and I don't want to lessen what this book is about and the impact of what this book is about in any way by speaking about it differently. But the level that I related to this, and the thing that spoke to me the most when reading this, is the social exclusion and being outcast by your peers, not having friends, just that side of things. And even in that, I didn't experience what Melinda experienced. But it brought me back to this age and to high school, which of course with most people is not the greatest of places. And I, at the age that Melinda is, was the person that I had a couple of different groups either tell me I couldn't hang out with them anymore, who literally tried to run away from me, and didn't really have a friend group, anybody to turn to. I was feeling very excluded and very alone during that time, and so reading this and having Melinda be of that age really brought all of that back for me. Which, as I said, this book is about so much more, but to me this is what hit me the hardest. And I think it was an authentic look into high school and how cruel people can be. Just, people can really suck. And so the reason that I've tied this in with Shy by Sian Prior, this is her memoir, and it's a memoir about being shy. And in primary school it was different, and I was different. I went to quite a small primary school, and there weren't a big group of us, and it was more a, bigger fish in a little pond. Whereas when I went to high school, it was in a different town. A lot of my friends from primary school were still there, but we were a smaller group in a much bigger school. I was put into a different grade than my best friend, so I lost her, and I still don't know how I managed to let that happen, because something changed for me when I hit high school and I became more shy, and I lost something, and I lost her. And she, I think, was somebody who had a much bigger personality than I did, and she really brought me out of myself when we were friends in primary school, and I maybe held her back a bit, and we were more of a complementary team. And when I lost her and I didn't have that to boost my courage anymore, I just retreated into myself, and I got myself into a place where I couldn't talk to anybody anymore, and I don't know how I let that happen, and it's something that I still regret now, and it's just ridiculous. So at the start of August, I read Shy by Sian Prior, and that's because I went to see Sian speak a couple of weeks ago now, and the subject of this really got me. So Shy is a memoir about the fact that she is shy, and after fleeing a party in a state of panic, she decides she's going to look into what shyness is and whether there's a reason for it, and what she can find out a bit more medically and scientifically what shyness is. The thing about Sian is she has got a very public life. So she, in her job, has been in journalism and in radio, and she has professional Sian that is able to deal with these taxing social situations, but when she is herself, she considers herself to be cripplingly shy. So the reason that this really spoke to me is the story that she relates, and the catalyst for this kind of research is the fact that she was at a party with her partner and just feeling incredibly socially awkward, and it got to the point that she left. She fled the party and couldn't deal with it anymore. And I did this year, and I'm still so angry at myself, but I did exactly the same thing. I was at a party earlier in the year where I knew basically nobody, and I just felt so incredibly awkward, and I just got myself into more of a, not a panic, it wasn't panic, but just into a worse and worse state of mind that I got incredibly worked up about it, and I had to leave. And I was just so furious with myself at the time, knowing that I was behaving in such an irrational manner. That element of this, knowing that somebody else has done it and it's just me and I am not the only, it makes you feel less alone and less stupid in that action. So I really enjoyed this one, and I really enjoyed hearing Sian speak. She was just amazing and definitely did not appear shy in her address. She was able to speak about her subject in a very confident manner, and it's definitely inspiring. It's not that I hope this would fix, have a magic fix in it, but certainly this book doesn't offer that. It's not something that I can now say that I can switch off. But the message that she gave and gave when speaking to us is that she's accepted her shyness is part of her, and that it's something that represents her and that she owns now, and that it's not something she's trying to escape anymore, it's something she's embracing. And so that's probably a lesson that I can take and to try and apply in my own life. It wasn't a cure-all. I didn't expect it would be, but reading this one, it's definitely a reminder that you're not alone, that there are a lot of people going through the same thing, that maybe those people at the party are feeling just as awkward as you are, and nobody's actually judging you. And I think that's the thing, you're so worried about the impression they're making on other people that it just completely shut down. And that's what's interesting about Booktube, and the fact that I'm making videos and speaking to a camera and putting them out on the internet, and how does that then equate with this shy persona that I feel is all of me, basically. And yet I'm doing this, and trying to reconcile those two things in my mind is an interesting one. These two books on the surface are very different, and they are very different, but as I said, they're aligned in the emotions that they evoked in me, in terms of reliving those high school days and that crippling shyness that I feel really does govern a lot of my life. And I guess what I need to take from this is not to let it govern my life, and just to accept it, to go with it, to see what I can do within its constraints, because obviously I am doing a lot within its constraints. I have a Booktube channel that I've been doing for over a year. I have over 100 videos. I am putting this out to the world. Anybody can be watching. And yes, I haven't told too many people in my actual life, and I suppose that would be the biggest test, to share it with these people who I knew from high school. And I feel like I'm getting to the point that I can share it more widely, because it, like shyness, is something that I can own and know that what I'm doing here is nothing to be ashamed of. I may not be the most learned booktuber, I may not be the most eloquent booktuber, I may not be the most critical booktuber, but I am who I am, and I've carved my little niche of booktube, and I'm at a place where I'm doing what I'm doing, and I wish always that I could be doing more and different and better, but what I am doing is something to own and to be proud of. How did I get onto this? So I think I've hijacked my review video for Speak with a whole bunch of other stuff that I don't necessarily need to be sharing on the internet, but there's some feelings that I thought on reading these books, so now it's out there. And so if you read either of these books or have felt any of these thoughts, do let me know in the comments. I would love to chat to you about it. As always, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.